Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, March 10th, 2016. I'm Keith Tebow. On this week's show, Donna Mata interviews a state senator on a referendum question that would legalize marijuana for recreational use. We speak with BCC's president, who has officially announced his intention to retire. We talk with city officials charged with making Fall River a more peaceful community. And we stop by the Catholic Memorial Home to check out its flower show. But let's kick things off, as we do week in and week out, by being joined by Will Richmond, the digital city editor at the Herald News, to talk of the news headlines of the week. Will, how are you?
I'm good, Keith. How you doing?
Doing well. Quite a bit to talk about this week, but let's talk a little bit about something that actually happened over the weekend. It's, I guess you can call it a crime story, where it was, you guys titled it The Rumble in the Jungle in the headline in the Herald, concerning an altercation at a local pet store. For people who don't know what happened, fill us in.
Well, so it's down at Jurassic Jungle on East Main Street. It appears that this is all based on police reports and court records at this point, but there were some folks in the store who were allegedly drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana at different points, got into a fight with other people over the proper care of reptiles. This turned into quite the scene, it seems like. They're alleged to have blockaded the doors to stop people from getting out. Physical assaults then took place, and then that spilled out into the road as the doors were opened. And quite the must have been quite the scene over there. I hope there were no young reptiles. They were hopefully covering their eyes.
Right, absolutely. You can kind of wonder what the discussion was. No, you don't feed reptiles this. You feed them this. I'm sure police could always tell a lot of stories about some of the confrontations they've had with residents and in altercations and in disagreements. But I'm sure this one ranked right up there with, you're arguing over what, right? I'm sure that was one of the things that police had to worry about.
Yeah, and I know the oddity of it. It's certainly been the most popular story on our site this week, and it was picked up by the Associated Press and other outlets in the area. So, sometimes you just can't beat the odd stuff.
That's right, and you know what? That's what makes the world go round, right? We're all different, right? We're all unique, as they say. All right, let's head back to local government and political issues. The City Council this week forwarded to committee a proposal which would in effect eliminate the sanitation fee. Of course, we know that Mayor Correa has talked about possibly eliminating the fee, and it looks like steps are moving to at least have that discussion amongst city councils. I believe it's going to go to the ordinance committee. Is that correct?
Right. It is now on its way to the ordinance committee. Certainly, Mayor Correa campaigned on the idea of removing the fee, as well as City Councilor Cliff Ponte, who also campaigned on that. So we'll go to ordinance. It will be heard there before it can move on to the full council for any vote, but it certainly appears to be on track for elimination.
Now, we're still looking for some information from the administration onto how the city hopes to make up the revenue that would be lost by this. Is that correct?
That's right. It hasn't exactly been known yet how that will happen. There's still details waiting to be heard on the prospects of privatization for sanitation and waste pickup. So that will probably be part of the equation going forward, but we're still waiting on those finer details, especially with the financials.
Any timetable on when the ordinance committee would be taking this up?
Nothing has been sent out yet. We're 2 days from the council meeting when that was moved, so no formal notice of such a meeting yet to this point. So could be before the next meeting, which would be the fourth Tuesday of the month, but nothing yet scheduled. And I
would think that a number of councilors would do their due diligence to find out again about those financial numbers on whether the elimination of the fee and how that would be made up before maybe they even take up this issue in committee.
Sure, I know Councilor Richard Cabeceras has been debating the numbers related to privatization. Whether or not he's figuring the sanitation fee in that or not, I'm not completely sure, but that's part of the process. Some of them, I'm sure, will be relying on their own figures, some on the figures provided by the administration, and we'll see where this goes.
Moving to the school committee now. The school committee this week has voted to hire a consultant, which will help in the search for a new superintendent of schools here in Fall River. And Will, this is a company that has some good experience in doing this. They're a Massachusetts company and have done this on a number of occasions.
Yeah, the Mass Association of School Committees is pretty well versed in this process.
Right.
They know superintendents in the state. It will be interesting to see if by using this organization, if it pretty much ensures more of an in-state candidate than the sort of national search that took place back in 2005 when Nick Fisher was hired. But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But at least it's the first step in the process is completed, and we head towards the sort of July period when Meg is expected to leave Fall River and head off to Barnstable.
Now, what are going to be the next steps? Now, this was just a selection of the firm to do this work. Is there going to be any back and forth between the association and the school committee to work out some details on whether they want to go outside the state, make it a national search, and also if that still needs to be done, is that something that would be done in executive session or in open meeting?
Well, I would expect they're going to want to discuss what the job description should look like. Yeah. That's something that's going to guide the type of superintendent they're looking for, from experience to pay range, and all the sort of finer details of what applicants would want to know as they apply for the position. My belief is, because they are just discussing the generality of the position, less so than specifics about a person, that should take place in open session.
Okay.
But that's something that we'll have to see as it goes forward.
Also, one of the things I wanted to bring up this week is the Herald News is doing I believe it's a month-long look into Women's History Month and women who make history here in the greater Fall River area. And there's been a number of profiles. There's one a day, I believe, throughout the month of March. Talk a little bit about that, Will, and who have been some of the people who've been profiled thus far.
Sure. Yeah. Every day for the month of March, we'll be highlighting a woman from the greater Fall River area who is, active in whether it's in the community or, any aspect really. We've highlighted politicians such as Pat Haddad and Carol Fiola, community leaders such as Wendy Garth-Lip, business women, doctors. We're really trying to capture the full gamut of those that have risen to the top of their fields, with the hopes of providing some inspiration for girls in the area, to show that talk of the glass ceiling can be simply that. The glass ceiling can be broken, and there are plenty of examples in this area to prove that that is the case.
Right. So follow the Herald News online and in the paper throughout the rest of the month, and you'll have great profiles of inspirational women here in the greater Fall River area. All right, Will, what's the Herald News working on over the next few days?
Well, this weekend we will have our own interview with Dr. Sprague regarding his retirement. And also we're looking, we've got to look at Nashua, New Hampshire, which is the home of a 100,000 square foot Amazon fulfillment center. So a little bit smaller than the one here in Fall River, but Nashua has many similar demographics. Their population is similar, former mill town, and ironically enough, they also would like to have a commuter rail that links them to Boston. Wow. So as a community, they're very similar. So we're taking a look at how the presence of that fulfillment center has worked out there and what that could mean for Fall River.
Now, is it the same type of fulfillment center with the larger items that are there? So is it apples to apples?
It's not quite apples to apples. Theirs is about 100,000 square feet, whereas the one here in Fall River is 1 million square feet.
Right.
So it's a tenth of the size, but plenty of employment opportunities and those type of things coming from that facility.
All right, Will, we appreciate your time. We'll talk again next week.
All right, thanks.
We'll have more of FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some positions on the newest hot job list for the week of March 7th through March 13th. Culinary aid, job number 696-2362. Assistant physical therapist, job number 701-2750. IT support engineer, job number 697-0503. Social worker, job number 700-4702. Tree and landscape technician, job number 697-0501. Outpatient clinician, job number 697-6187. For more information, visit frcmedianews.org or call the Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. Massachusetts residents still have time to consider their views on whether to vote for or against a referendum question on this November's ballot that would legalize marijuana for recreational use. But the state Senate has been busy studying the pros and cons of a yes vote for quite some time. Donna Mata spoke with State Senator Mike Rodrigues, who gave his views on what the referendum question is really all about.
What this question is all about is the commercialization and the big business of marijuana. I liken it to post-World War II with tobacco. After World War II, the quote-unquote big tobacco promoted and marketed their products to the people of the world in America. You know, we had the Marlboro Man, we had Joe Camel, we had all these gimmicks and marketing tools to convince Americans that consuming tobacco is not bad for you. We've actually had physicians in advertisements saying consuming tobacco is not unhealthy for you. That's right, and it was big tobacco. What I see happening now is big marijuana. It's all about the edibles. It's all about extracting the THC out of marijuana to a potency of 100% and infusing that in products such as salad dressing, such as gummy bears. It's all about their marketing plans to encourage more people to consume marijuana, and those that do consume marijuana to consume more of it in different forms. So I'm concerned. With that being said, I think it's very likely the question will pass in November. So as a policymaker, it is our job to be prepared. It is our job to learn as much as we can from those handful of states that have already passed it. And so that's why we went to Denver, to ask our colleagues. We met with Denver Department of Public Health, Department of Public Safety, Department of Education, of Agriculture, with legislators, with proponents and opponents, asking them, so it's been a year now, what mistakes did you make as policymakers? What would you have rather done? What did you do that you wish you wouldn't have done? You know, how do you control it? How do you tax it? How do you control the underground market? How do you protect against driving under the influence? You know, how about all these edibles? You know, I see products in the store that children could confuse. You know, and no one knows that, you know, it's marijuana infused. So there's a lot of policy questions, and the potency of the product has changed so much. The marijuana that was around back in the 70s and 80s was about 5% THC.
And that was still illegal back then.
It was still illegal.
So
back
now
then.
we're getting a little bit more liberal with it.
Now it is grown in controlled conditions indoors and through good science and good botany and selective process, that they've got marijuana in the 20-30% THC potency, much different than what was out there in the past. Lots of issues with emergency room stays, because especially with the edibles, because if you smoke a joint, it gets into your lungs, it gets into your bloodstream, you catch a buzz immediately. You eat something, it could take up to 2 hours for it to get into your bloodstream, and you start to feel the effects. So people will eat something, eat a brownie, I don't feel anything, eat another one. I don't feel anything, eat a third one. The next thing you know, they're in the emergency room. And, you know, what was interesting was how statistics are manipulated. The advocates, the proponents will tell you that emergency room visits in Denver, because of overconsumption of marijuana, amounted to only 1% of all emergency room visits. The opponents will tell you that emergency room visits because of overconsumption of marijuana increased by 100% in 1 year from 300 to 600 emergency room visits. So it's, you take the same statistics and how you manipulate them and portray them can make a difference.
That's right. So it's really all about education. Just know what you're voting for, too.
Know what you're voting for. And like I said, you're not voting for a responsible, consenting adult's ability to stay home and smoke a joint. You can already do that. It's already done. It's decriminalized. Nobody bothers anybody. This is all about allowing an industry to commercialize and to expand, and that is focused on increasing the consumption of marijuana in increasingly more powerful forms.
Senator Rodrigues, who serves on a special Senate committee on marijuana, also announced that the state has released its report on the subject just this week. The full 120-page document is available online at our website, frcmedianews.org. It's almost time to bid farewell to Bristol Community College President Dr. John Sprague, as he officially announced his intentions to retire in August of 2017. Donna had a chance to interview Dr. Sprague on his tenure at the college.
Dr. Sprague, first of all, you've been a great president for the last how many years?
16 now.
And now it's time to
Move ahead.
Yeah. Tell us, what made you make that decision?
Well, it's been a difficult decision. I think it's time to go to another direction, and it's time for the college to enjoy a new leadership as well and go to further plateaus. But I have just had a great run here, and I loved it, and I love working with the great people that are here.
And you've been here for so many years. You're a very familiar face all over campus. I've seen you hold doors open for students, and you've poured soup for faculty members at events. You're very hands-on. What would you say is one of your biggest accomplishments during your tenure?
Well, I would have to say the opening of the new sites in New Bedford, Attleboro, and Taunton, because it's what we're all about, access and opportunity for the residents of the whole region. And I'm very proud of the enrollment growth that we've had and the way that we've been able to open up doors for the people of the region.
Now, if you were going to give a pitch to the students even after you leave to come to BCC, what would that pitch be?
Well, it starts, as almost all learning institutions must start, with the faculty. We have outstanding faculty. They're highly committed to students' success. They're professionals, experts in their field. And beyond being experts in their field, they're willing to spend time with the students and communicate that concern that they have for students' growth. So faculty would be the first and top priority, but the other things that I would tell them about are the wonderful staff that we have here, the support services. Everybody seems committed to the one goal of student success.
Now, what is your biggest achievement personally?
Personally, again, I would say it was the opening of the campuses and the growth of programs so that our students can prosper and move on. I love hearing from alums where they go afterwards, and I tell them they wouldn't be where they are without BCC, and you can go anywhere from BCC.
What are your plans for the future?
Well, that's a good question. I have plenty of history notes to research and continue my research in American foreign policy. I don't know about publishing, but I certainly expect to do more research. And then my wife is so involved in the Children's Museum, I'm sure I'll be volunteering a number of hours with her as well.
So we'll expect to see you in the community.
Still be hanging around, that's right.
That's a wonderful thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Donna Mata for FRC Media News.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
This is Shelby. She's a 5-year-old Jack Russell Terrier mix. She's kind of been a tough adoption because she only bonds with certain people. She has to really gain your trust because she's so scared, and she'll nip at you if she doesn't trust you, but you know, she's fallen in love with a lot of the staff members here because she trusts us. She just needs a understanding home. She is at Provo Paws at 300 Linwood Street. This is Darwin. He's a 3-month-old kitten. He's a boy. He was a stray, came in through animal control. He's just your typical kitten, very sweet, very playful. He just wants a home where he can run around and have fun. He's good with other cats. Not sure about dogs, but you know, he's a baby, so I'm sure he'll adjust. You can come see him at Provo Paws at 300 Lidwood Street.
If you know someone who's working towards making Fall River a more peaceful community, then you have the opportunity to submit his or her name for a chance to be nominated for the Hero of Peace Award, as we hear in this report.
Christian, can you tell us about the award?
The Heroes of Peace Award was established in 2010 in conjunction with the Peace by Peace Summit. As you had mentioned, there's always so much negativity going on in the news, and we were just looking at recognizing all the positive things that are going on in the community towards peace. So in 2010, we created the Heroes of Peace Award, in which we awarded it in 2010 and 11. We took a small hiatus and then resurrected the award last year. So we're once again looking to encourage the community to recognize those individuals or groups who are helping make Fall River more peaceful.
Is there a certain age group? Is it children, teenagers? Is it adults?
There are three categories with a youth nomination, an adult nomination, or a group/agency.
Now, who started this Hero Peace Award?
Out of the Peace by Peace Summit, several years run through United Neighbors, we just did some brainstorming and just really wanted to recognize the positive things. The whole premise of Peace by Peace is that no one agency or one partner can solve all of the problems or make Fall River totally peaceful, but everybody has a small piece of the puzzle in which they can play.
What are the requirements, so to speak? How does one get nominated?
It's a very general nomination form, and it's just individuals recognizing other individuals or agencies that are contributing to making Fall River more peaceful. And it's broad in its definition, but it's an opportunity for just the average citizen to become part of our larger effort in, once again, recognizing and celebrating the accomplishments of those who are making Fall River more peaceful.
Who were the recipients for the last award?
There were two students, one at Durfee, one at Talbot, and both those recipients participated in the Youth Candidates Forum, Deshawn and Samaya. And then there were three adults, Tom Corey, Wendy Gar-Flip, and Rochelle Foley. And then our groups were
the Katie Brown Educational Program, the Durfee students who were involved in the Respect campaign last year. We had the Fall River Police Special Ops Unit, and I think, did we get them all? I think we got them all.
I believe that is all.
I know that the nominations for the Hero Peace Award is coming up. Can you just explain to our audience how they can nominate?
Well, if they visit our website, fryouthviolenceprevention.org, you can download a nomination form and then email it back. It's a very simple form, and hopefully we have a lot of nominations where our review board then will get to pick the winners, and hopefully we make our announcement during Youth Violence Prevention Week.
Spring is right around the corner, and if you're interested in picking up some potted plants to celebrate the season, you may want to head out to the Catholic Memorial Home on Highland Avenue.
Well, this is our 13th annual flower show. We have many residents that enjoy this every year. We bring the outdoors in. We have a different theme every year, and they're inside the solarium here enjoying a cup of coffee and the beautiful scenery. It's a team effort. We have lots of help, including our groundskeepers and other staff in the building, making special props to add to the gardens and make it very special for the residents to enjoy. It's a great photo opportunity for family members with their loved ones and open to the community as well. We have many raffle prizes, and residents participate in helping to sell tickets and selling plants, and with volunteers and staff, it's always a big success.
Which is nice because the flowers do bring a little bit of spring, especially since we had a mild winter. It's nice to see. So the public can come and purchase.
Sure. Yes, they can.
What are the hours?
For the public, we say 9:30 to 3:30. The show is here. It does not move, but we kind of cool off the room for the evening hours and open the doors in the morning to keep things fresh and growing and blooming.
Okay, very good.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Very much.
I'm Donna Mata for FRC Media News.
That's it for FRC Media News for the week. You can catch FRC Media News Thursday and Friday at 6 p.m. But as always, you can find the latest news online at our website, frcmedianews.org. I'm Keith Tebow. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.